Hello and welcome back to another First Impressions video brought to you by MMO Play. Today we're taking a look at the first impressions, a little more detailed look for Tomb Raider. Just released this past week. It is, for anyone that has never played a game of the franchise before, me included, it is an action-adventure game with a bit of puzzle solving and platforming. This one seems to be pretty light, but it does exist. One thing I do want to go over real quick is for anyone purchasing the game at the time of release, there's a slight issue with NVIDIA users. So let's go into that. There's a few settings you need to avoid. In advanced, where is it? Hair quality. You got normal, and then TressFX. Do not use TressFX for now. It's an option available on AMD cards, and it can have massive issues for NVIDIA. From what I've been hearing, it can have your frame rates and all kinds of other fun little details to that. It's something that makes your hair look more realistic, but it's just something that's meant for AMD cards. NVIDIA doesn't really support it too much yet, so just leave that to normal for now. The other thing is tessellation. Leave that off. And exclusive full screen. If you have an NVIDIA 600 series card, apparently there are issues with crashes and other little fun quirks. So part of it is NVIDIA didn't get an early release copy of the game, so they didn't get a chance to fix it up. So if this is the first week or two after release, unless you've seen a new driver available for your NVIDIA card, chances are you're still affected, so leave these off. I'm going to turn that off. Exclusive full screen there, boom. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't bother me, but tessellation seems to be the big one. That, and I also use a GTX 400 series card, so it probably doesn't bother me at all. You also saw there's plenty of different options for other graphical settings you can set. The game looks beautiful, so let's actually get into the game itself. Alright, here we are, probably about an hour or so into the game. Probably longer than that for me, because I've been just enjoying exploring. Again, I've never played a Tomb Raider game before, so kind of going full hog on this one. I'm going to try to avoid any story elements. In fact, I'll probably just pause the recording then. But I just got a climbing axe, so you can see. I thought it would work right here. Alright, so if you're looking for things to interact with, it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of, really dark and dreary, this island. But you can hit your Q button, and it'll show, there we go, some of the objectives. It'll also highlight hidden items if you're nearby. So you can see right now I have to be going towards here. I'm going to try to avoid too much story. I don't want to get any spoilers in here, because the story is pretty much one of the big things. Alright, so you hit E. This is on the PC version. The port of the PC seems pretty good. Let's see where I'll go. Oh, and then WASD, you can move around. When you're playing the intro, it'll tell you all the little different button combinations. WASD movement. E is like a hold or an interact. Sometimes you'll have to smash A and D to do some stuff, and then F. Those are kind of the keys you use. But here we go. You can see right there it highlights all of this. Trying to figure out how to get up here. This is kind of the platforming. To get 100% unlocked, you can see right now in this area I'm at 14%, but back at this area, 69%, and way in the beginning, 100%. So you have to do a lot of exploring if you want to find everything. I'm kind of OCD, so I probably will eventually. But I'm also kind of wanting to hear the story. This is on normal difficulty for anyone that's curious about difficulty. I'm going to try to get into some combat to show it off, but you also do have two weapons. You have your pistol, and you can scroll wheel in between. Scroll wheel once, not twice. And you have your bow. If you want to carry a torch, you can't use the bow. Bow's a two-handed weapon, torch takes a slot, so you can do pistol and torch. And then kind of explore around. Get up there. Oh, I guess you can't climb and hold a torch too, which would make sense. Let's see if there's any. Yep, it tells you what you want to do. And jump! And jump! We've got a torch here, we can grab that. Gotta light her up. Some little markings you can look around. Is there anything here I want to see? Possibly. Oh, don't go into the waterfall. The waterfall will put my torch out, but there is this. What? Oh, there we go. There was an item that was hidden. Got a nice little rock wall to climb. I just jump up it? Nope. Put my torch. Oh, there's another one up there. And for anyone that's curious about the series and hasn't been following it too much, this is the prequel. This is, I think, the origin story of Lara Croft. Looking around. These are on high settings. I'm avoiding maximum. Again, I have an NVIDIA card and just waiting for another driver from NVIDIA first. Shouldn't take too long. They're usually pretty fast about it. But they didn't get an early access code to the game, so they didn't have time to optimize. If you're an ATI or AMD user, probably go to Ultra if you got a good rig. I got a nice little campsite here. Alright, at the campsite we got some options. If we're at one of the main story campsites, in the middle there'll be a fast travel. You can fast travel to other main campsites, not the little side ones. For skills, you get them with XP. You get XP from finding things, killing things, including monsters. Monsters in this game, or not monsters, animals in this game really don't, like, there's no hunger bar that I've seen. What there is if you kill them, you get experience. And in my case, I also have survival, been leveling that up. So I got survivalist, advanced salvaging, bone collector. Carefully looting animals will reward you with extra salvage, and a resource for archers can recover arrows from the body. So if I go recover, I'll get some salvage, and I'll get my arrows back. What is salvage? Salvage is crafting. You got 345, use it to upgrade things. I've upgraded my bow twice, which it says it's 20%, which means to me that there's going to be 10 more 10 upgrades later, eventually. So, and pistol, which I haven't been upgrading because I'm holding out for bow. I kind of want to focus on that. And I upgraded my Pride open axe. And then you also have multiple costumes. So I got the standard default Laura costume and the gorilla costume, which we'll look at. No real effect other than just looks. But I kind of like being all traditional. Let's get her back in her normal getup. She's not quite as bloody as she is at some points. Some points she's pretty well bloodied. I don't know why I just did this, because I'm going to have to go through a waterfall, which puts out your lights.
Gilded figures, servants of the Sun Queen.
And looking around for any options.
There's no record of these kinds of rituals in ancient Yamatai. Unless it was erased from the text.
Push! Alright, how about I jump on that? Well, that doesn't do anything for me now, does it? Anything down here? So you can see this is pretty much a lot of the gameplay, especially if you're kind of a completionist and want to do everything, is just exploring around and figuring out some puzzles. This isn't a huge aspect to the game. The story is actually fairly easy to go through if you just want to blaze through it. And so far at this point, I'm enjoying the story. Love the looks of it. Looks promising. A little bit of issues with NVIDIA cards, but other than that, it's so far playing well. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the other footage I recorded showing some of the specific game mechanics. And that'll probably be it for this video. The next one, we're going to look at some of the multiplayer and see if we can get something going with multiplayer. So stay tuned to more, and I'm going to see if I can figure out this puzzle. And sometimes in the middle of your exploration, we can find these little masks, plus GPS caches for anyone that's ever done geocaching. There's pretty much a thing in the game, too. But when you get these masks, sometimes it'll say that you twirl it around and look for more. This one, you actually don't have to. But you can see, you can just kind of right-click and look around. Sometimes you'll find some little special note, and maybe a little extra unlockage. Hey, there we go. That was an eBay mask. 50 bucks. And the last, but not by no means least thing, is the combat. A lot of, platformers, they'll not have any combat. This one is more of a action-adventure game that has some platforming, exploration, puzzle solving. So I tried to bring the ball out earlier. You hold right-click to aim. You can hit Z to zoom, too, and then You hold left click to kind of aim, like to pull back. Or you can just miss awfully like I am. Thankfully there's plenty of arrows around here. This was my very first attempt at a fight. Recorded probably 10-15 minutes into the game. You can see you can hold back a little bit, and that does help. Once you hit them once, they get a little angry and they start running around. They will calm down. It seems like they move slower after they hit. I'm not positive, but if so, would be a really cool thing, because it kind of represent them bleeding out and slowing down a little bit, but now he seems to be running pretty good now. There were times where it seemed like they actually would slow down a little bit. But you have to hit him a certain number of times. I think at this point it was 3. I actually made it so I could hit, or is it 2, as you level up your bow? But these, again, they will not give you food, but they will give you experience, and it's one of the best ways to level up is just to get tons of experience that way. Leveling up is those skills I showed earlier. If you are interested in the game and you haven't picked it up yet, check it out. It's available on most digital distributors for about $50. There's a higher-end mode, I think called Survival Mode. It's $57. We'll look at the multiplayer in another video, but this is Laura's first kill, so she doesn't overly thrilled with it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to more. And poor Lara Croft having to find ways to survive. This is her prequel, after all. See you guys next time.